At last, it is finally here, a tutorial video on how to import Destiny 2 maps into Unreal Engine 5. So, let's go ahead and begin. A quick note before we get too far into this video, we're going to be using an older version of Destiny 2, so everything that released to Season of the Plunder, which is Season 18, you'll be able to access and rip from the game itself. But anything after that, which is like Lightfall and other seasonal activities and stuff, that won't be in that rip that we need. I will come up with a video later on using Charm 2.0 to do that, to rip Lightfall stuff, but in this video, we're just to stick with our earlier version, custom version of Charm. So, let's continue from here. I'm pretty sure most of you that are watching right now are already familiar with the Unreal Engine, and you already have it installed on your computer already, and you're ready to go from there. The one application I want to really kind of focus on and kind of explain just a little bit is Charm. Charm is an application that you're able to rip Destiny content from the game itself, from the game files. So Charm can read the package files that are there, it rips the data, it changes it into 3D geometry, and it's able to rip textures and a whole bunch of other data as well. It can create scripts for you so you can import everything automatically into Unreal Engine 5, and it's really cool and it's very powerful. The only thing to note on Charm, it is always in beta and it is buggy. It does crash every once in a while, but when it works really well. And since I'm giving out info in general, I will have a link in the description below to a Google Doc that has all the links of everything that you need to download, reference to, and also little extra goodies at the bottom that has more information on Charm and other stuff like that. So the first thing that you'll need off the list is Microsoft Net 6.0. This allows Charm to run appropriately, and so it actually boots up. So this is an absolute need. The next thing you need is the Depot downloader, the latest version of it. This allows you to download older builds of Destiny 2. So you'll need that. The next thing you need is the custom Charm version of 1.5.5. And the next thing there, you need the Python script as well. All of that can be downloaded through the links of the description below in the Google Docs. Once you got everything downloaded, go ahead and install the Microsoft.NET 6.0. After you're done with that, go ahead and open up the Depot downloader. You want to go ahead and put that Depot downloader folder into a place where you would put the entire game of Destiny when you download it. By the way, that's like 100 gigs. So make sure you put it on a drive where you can actually save it to that actually has that much data. While you're in the file, go ahead and open up the File tab, go to Open Windows PowerShell, and then go ahead and launch that. Once you got that booted up, go ahead and copy and paste the Steam Depot for the base game. We're going to use this base command. Go ahead and plug in your username and password in there, and when you do that, when you press enter after you paste all your stuff in there with your correct username and password, of course, it should come up with a prompt that you need to verify your email. If you have a second verification activated on your Steam account, you have to do that through your email. You should get a little pop-up, and once you confirm that code, then it'll start downloading the packages. This will take a while to download, so let it work off in the background. It might take like an hour or two to get it finished downloading. Yet again, it's about 100 gigabytes to get this done. The second part of the package that we need is the English package for Depot. Go ahead and do the same exact process that we just did. You're just going to copy and paste that stuff with your username and password. This time you don't have to do a second verification since you already went through the process once already. You should be good to go. Luckily, this package is a lot less. It should be like a little bit over a gigabyte, so that should be pretty quick. And to get down to the nitty gritty of what you're copying and pasting into the command lines and stuff, pretty much the first part, which is the app and then a number. That number is actually the number ID for the game, which is Destiny 2. The next one is the depot number. That depot number is a part of a package that you are wanting. That's that ID for that one. And then the thing that's called the manifest. The manifest is what it is. The manifest is you're getting a certain package from a certain date, which is a certain build of Destiny that we need from that date, which is season 18. So Season of the Plunder. That's the build that we're getting. So that's what that's for. So that's a little breakdown of what those numbers mean and what the command kind of goes through. Once you have both packages downloaded, you should go into the depots folder that was created, and inside there's two folders. One that ends in 661, which is the base game of Destiny, and the other one is the 660. That's the English package. What we need to do is go into the English package, into the package folder, Control A, just select all the files that are there, and we're going to click and drag it into the Destiny base game packages. So as soon as that's put in there, we're finished and we're all done downloading the old build of Destiny. And give yourself a good pat on the back, because that is literally, I think, pretty much the hardest thing that you have to do is getting these darn packages downloaded. Alright, let's go ahead and get Charm all set up here. First thing you want to do is go ahead and extract the zip file from Charm, and once you extract it, go ahead and open up the folder. Once you open it up, we want to go ahead and plug in our Python script, or replace the existing one that's already in there. So just go ahead and click and drag the Python script that you already downloaded into the main directory folder of Charm. It'll ask you to replace the one that's already existing. Go ahead and do that, press yeah, and then that's good to go. The next thing you want to do is create a new Unreal Engine 5 project, and in here I just use the first person template to get everything started, and you can name it whatever you would like. And then after that, you want to go ahead and create a folder inside the content folder. You don't want to like go a folder inside a folder. Make sure it's then inside of the content folder. That's what you want. In this case, I named it Charm Maps. And then since we're in here, we're going to go ahead and activate a plugin if it's not activated already. So go to Edit and then to Plugins. Look for the name for Python, and you want to look up Python Edit Script Plugin. Go ahead and activate that. Give it a little tick, and then it's going to ask you to restart the Unreal Engine. Go ahead and restart it, and then we should be all set up for the Unreal Engine 5 project. Let's go ahead and create a new folder called Charm Exports. It's pretty much what it is all the exports from Charm are going to go into this folder. Let's finally boot up Charm. Let's go ahead and open up the folder and open up the charm.exe. Once that boots up, it's going to give you a configuration page here. We want to go ahead and do the first option, which is find the package files of the game. Pretty much all the stuff we downloaded prior. You want to get the location of that, so just go ahead and connect that. And the next thing you want to do is set up the export Charm file as well. So that new folder that we just created that was called Charm Exports, go ahead and put that in. Once you do that, it's going to start loading up a bunch of stuff. It's going to start looking through the packages, creating everything that you need to kind of get things prepped. This will take a couple minutes, so just let it do its thing. Once the compiling is all finished up, the other options I just leave as true for the 3, and then the other one for the save C buffers, leave that one as false. And then for the output texture format, you're going to use PNG or TGA. Those are the only two formats that work with Unreal Engine, so I personally just use PNG. The next thing you want to do is go into the Unreal Engine tab on the top left. Once you click on that, you want to see those two options there. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and locate the Unreal Engine content folder path. So it's the project that we just created for the Unreal Engine project. Go ahead and go into the content folder, and then inside there you'll find the Charm Maps folder. Make sure you choose that path for it. And the next thing you want to do is make sure that generate Unreal Engine importing files. That creates the Python script for you, so make sure that is set to true. Alright, congratulations, you gotten this far already. Let's go ahead and finally start ripping some maps from Charm here. There's a whole bunch of options in the main menu here, but the main focus that we're going to be going to is the activities. That's where all our maps are categorized and done very nicely. So let's go ahead and click on that, and the next thing you can see here, when it loads up, this loads up all the packages that we already downloaded, so it's kind of cool to see everything that's there. You can go ahead and do a search. In this case, for this tutorial, we're going to be ripping the Prophecy Dungeon, the very first part of the map for that dungeon encounter. So yeah, go ahead and go into there, and we're going to use the Heaven and Hell pack part. This is the very first part of the map. So when you click on that, you can go ahead and actually view everything that's there prior. You can view stuff in the sections. That's the way that the map's broken out. Sometimes they're broken into a whole bunch of sections, but in this case, the Prophecy Dungeon is not that big, so there's only a couple portions of the map that are here. So you can just view all, and what will happen is when you hit the view button, it'll bring everything up all at once. And to way to navigate around the menu a little bit, or not really the menu, the navigation here, you can hold the right mouse button down, and it will kind of move the camera around the object that's there. Also, if you want to pan around stuff, you can hold down the right mouse button and hold down shift at the same time. You can pan around. So that's how the navigation works there. There's also a couple other cool things that are under the tabs. There's one that says dialogue, directive, and music. Dialogue, it won't occur on every single map, but when it's there, you can actually get dialogue from the encounters that actually happen during the dungeon, which is really cool. Also, the directive just gives a breakdown, pretty much a quest list of what you need to accomplish to progress through the dungeon itself. And the next part is the music tab, which is really awesome because it actually plays the music from the Prophecy Dungeon, in this case, encounter. So it's kind of cool. I don't know how to necessarily rip that stuff. That's something that I'm going to cover in this video because I just don't know how to do it. But it is an option, I guess, to do it. Since we're kind of familiar with the map of Charm UI a little bit already, let's go ahead and rip the map. So we're going to go and make sure the select all option is on. This will rip all of the 5 map content packs that are there. Make sure the everything option tab is on. It'll rip absolutely everything. And once you do that, it'll have a little load menu of how many map packs it's actually exporting out as a rip. And that's going into your Charm export folder. Go ahead and navigate to your Charm export folder. You should see a whole bunch of stuff in there. The file directory it kind of creates for you, which is kind of awesome that Charm does. So in this case, it's going to be in the Prophecy, and then Heaven, Hell, which is interesting because it's kind of broken up in that way, but in any regards. You should see in here, it should have one folder as dynamic meshes, particularly as well. So it's just that dynamic has all the 3D geometry in there. The other one is the shaders that builds the materials and stuff for you in the Unreal Engine 5. So it's like a run script that gets applied to it. There is the static, which is for static meshes. That's all in that folder. And then the next one down is just textures, which is all the textures that get applied to the materials. The kind of structure of the whole thing that's here, you get like things that are numbers and then an FBX file. So the most important thing that we're kind of paying attention to a little bit is the very first top section, which is import to UE5.py, which is the Python script. That is something that we're going to be getting into the Unreal Engine, but you want to notice something on here first is the FBX, which has a number on the size of it right there, which has a size tied to it. That is, the higher that number is, the bigger the file is to import, so the longer it will take. So just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and go back into UE5. We're going to create a folder. In my case, I'm just going to label it as Prophecy. This is where I'm going to be putting my map in for its base. After you do that, let's go ahead and create a new map. I'm just going to do the basic map here. And once you do that, you're going to want to do save the map as in the folder we just created. So I'm just going to label it as Heaven and Hell. Go ahead and save it in the Prophecy folder. So that's where the map will be, just for organization. That's why I'm doing this. Before we start using the Python script, make sure that you have the map that we just created open, the Heaven and Hell one that we just did. Make sure that is open, because whatever we import into the engine right now, it will go into that map. So how it works is when you run the script, it will import all the geometry, it'll create all the materials, it'll apply all that stuff and put everything in its correct location that it would in Destiny 2. It'll be in the engine here, but it will go into that map. So make sure whatever map you have open, that's the map you want your stuff into. Okay, so in our folder there is 5 map packs that need to get imported into the engine here. So as you can see here, the very first one we'll start with, which is import UE5.py. Kind of went over this already a little bit, but what you want to do is right click and you want to go ahead and view the properties. As soon as you see that, you want to go to the security tab and copy the file path. You can go ahead and highlight that with your mouse and go ahead and control C that. The next thing you want to do is go to near the very bottom left of UE5. You should see that thing that says enter a command in there. You want to change it from CMD to Python in the little drop down arrow there. And what you're going to do from here is Control V. It'll have the file path for you, and once you press enter, it'll start importing the first map pack, and then we can move on to the other ones after this one's imported in all the way. Go ahead and rinse and repeat the same process we just did by inputting the file paths for each Python script that we have there. Before initiating all the Python scripts after that, let's start with the first one here. I would go ahead and create a folder in the level hierarchy area on the top right. Just each map pack has its own little folder on its own. In this case, I just label it as asset 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. from there. After importing those 5 map packs into the Unreal Engine here, looks pretty good. The materials applied pretty well. Yet again, Charm gets about 90 to 95% of the materials looking really good. The other percentage, which you should see, will turn out to be like a gray texture pattern. Those are materials that we'll go through later on and fix up. Now, the next thing I wanted to do is move the 3 folders, the material, static, and texture folders, into the prophecy folder. We just want all of that stuff that goes with prophecy into one folder. And another reason why is if you're going to import more maps in here, it's just going to go into those 3 folders that are there currently. I'm pretty sure you don't want to mix prophecy with King's Fall Raid or something like that. So before we move these folders, what you want to do is probably load up a different map than the one we have currently. I just load up the first person shooter map. That's a template there. And once you did that, you can go ahead and select all 3 of those folders and drag it into the prophecy folder. This might take a minute to load. Once that is done, you want to go ahead and look at the charm folder and see what might be remnants in there. The thing with Unreal Engine, moving content folders from one to another always leaves bad references that it has. It leaves ghost references in this case. So if you see folders that are there even though you moved them over, they might be there. In this case, mostly all the time, the static or the static and texture folders are left behind even though there is nothing in them. But in every scenario, what you want to do is right click on the static mesh folder, and I believe it's fix redirectories or something like that. Once you do that, it will go through a thing, it will fix up the directories and relocate them to where they are now, which is the prophecy folder. And once that is done, then you can freely delete the folder. If you do not do this, it will ask you, you're going to force delete this folder, and when you do that, it's going to disconnect a lot of things, mess up all your stuff. So let's not do that. Let's do the fix up redirectors on that one, and then you should be good to delete it afterwards. It's just how Unreal Engine is with their folder structure. That's that. Alright, so now you got all the folders moved into the prophecy folder, so now we're kind of all set there. But here's something that you should know before you open up the map or either any meshes or anything like that. Before you do any of that, we need to go to the materials folder. This is a bug that happens on version 5.0 of Unreal Engine. If you have 5.3, I don't think this problem happens, but just in case it does, you want to open up each material and save it, kind of like recompiling it. How you can do that is pretty much disconnect and reconnect the node and then hit save, and then it will just save it, apply it. If you do not do this and open up the map packs or either meshes or anything like that, it will disconnect the material from the meshes, everything will just get lost in translation for some other reason. I don't know what happens when you move folders like that. Even though you did the whole redirectory thing before, Unreal Engine has a problem with that yet again. I think that's only with Unreal Engine 5.0, but 5.3 should not have that problem. And so since we're in the materials anyway, I highly recommend that you just go through each one to make sure that each one's correct and what it should be showing is showing correctly. So while you're going through each material and then attaching a node and reattaching a node and then saving it, I'll be going through particular ones that you'll probably run into. So yeah, so the first one here, as you can see, is a node that has no thumbnail on it. It's pretty much a blank material. This, if you open it up, you should see no texture nodes into it. You don't have to worry about detaching and detaching nodes here because it has no references, so you can't lose any data from that. So you can just go ahead and leave that one blank. You probably actually delete this one later on down the road, but for now, we're just going to leave it. The other one is the transparent materials. This one, you want to go ahead and detach the emissive node. The reason why is particularly in Unreal Engine 5.3, this also happens in 5.0, I've noticed as well, but it for some reason activates an emissive texture part of it. So just getting rid of that fixes that problem. The next one is the gray checkered pattern. When you open that material up, it'll have like a little error at the bottom there. For now, we're just going to ignore the error, and we're going to detach the node and then save it. This material is just going to turn black, like a matte black material, and that's totally fine. That's something that you fix up later on, but for now we're just detaching it so it saves its reference of textures there so you don't lose that data. And the last material that you want to fix is the kind of crazy looking parallax camera vertex material that for some reason it grabs like a texture and then it kind of plants it inside of it, so when you look around it kind of moves the texture in a weird spot. You'll see it on the screen here. You probably want this on some materials like crystals and stuff like that, which gives it parallax effects, but not on every single material, and this only occurs on a few of them. So what you want to do is you want to click on the custom node, which has all the code in it to compute everything. You want to go ahead and copy the code that's there and use Notepad, for instance, and we want to get rid of a certain word node, which is the view directive or derv or whatever it is here, and you want to remove each reference from that. There should be only 3 references, so go ahead and remove those. Once you do that, Control A everything and Control C and go back into the Unreal Engine. Control A, Control C, paste your new code in there, and now it should be fixed up. If you want, you can also remove the node, the 2 nodes that were there, by going down to the bottom and remove the output for it, which is the view directive. You remove that and you should be good to go. You can delete the nodes as well. So that's how you fix that problem. So let's take a look at a typical material and what is in it for the most part. You see the first part here, we have 2 textures. Those 2 textures plug into a custom node. That custom node runs a whole bunch of code script on converting all the floats and numbers into a correct output into a breaker attribute to the base material. In any case, you don't have to know too much about this for the most part, but it has a couple other nodes down below which does like your vertex textures, and also it does the camera vertex as well for parallax effect and stuff like that. But for the most part, this is what a typical text material actually looks like. It's not too complex. The only weird thing about this one, what you might not be familiar with, is the custom node, which has the custom code in there that's ran by the script of Python. So you might see this red warning sign that pops up on the left hand side of the screen, which is your texture streaming pool is over budget by X amount of number. The reason why is because you probably imported a lot of map data into there, and what you need to do is increase the pool size, or the texture streaming pool size. The way to do that is go to the very bottom to your command console there, switch it from Python to CMD. Once you do that, you're going to type in a console command. You're going to type in r.streaming.pool size, and I just input 10,000, and that should fix your problem usually. If you have a lower end PC, probably wouldn't do 10,000, maybe something lower that can kind of get what you need. But yeah, should work fine for any medium to high end PCs. So that's how to fix that. One thing you probably want to learn from my experience is actually how to delete map packs. You might want to delete it for any reason, like data that got corrupted, or just map stuff got messed up, or you're testing things, whatever your reason might be. There is patterns on how to delete your stuff that's connected to references. So I'm going to show you here the correct path on how to delete your stuff. So the first thing you want to do, if you have a map that's already created with all your assets inside there, you want to go ahead and delete the map first. Once you delete the map, you want to go ahead and delete the static meshes that are there, okay? And the next thing after that, you would want to delete the materials and then the textures. That's how the hierarchy works. It's the map, static meshes, materials, textures. If for whatever reason you want to delete the textures first, you'll get an error saying you want to force delete this stuff. It'll lose references to everything. It'll kind of mess everything up with Unreal Engine with their folder structure. So the correct way of the hierarchy, it's maps, static meshes, materials, and then textures. That's how it works. So hopefully that helps you in the long run. I want to thank you all for actually watching this tutorial video. I really appreciate you guys coming and learning how to rip stuff from Destiny 2. So I know I didn't go into crazy detail on how to do lighting, creating blueprints and stuff like that in Unreal Engine. My main objective was to be able to get you to understand what charm is, ripping Destiny 2 content, and then importing it into the engine using the Python script, so everything's kind of automated a little bit for you, and it gets a big load off from you from that part. And also it creates really great accurate materials as well. So I hope you really all enjoyed this video. I'll be coming out with more stuff later on, particularly uncovering on how to fix certain materials, particularly the ones with the errors on them, and you can create your own materials. So all the stuff that I talked about yet again is in the description in the Google Doc. You can go ahead and view that. I have all of the links there for my references and stuff that I referenced to. There's also a little extra tab down there, one that also includes a material map pack. That is something for a future video that will come out on, but you can go ahead and get it right now if you want to, because I find it to be very useful for materials that you want to create on your own, and a little extra on the side as well. So feel free, download that and open up as a project to migrate it to wherever you would like. So thank you all for watching again, and this is David from ET Gaming, and I'm out of here.